Immediately, I know something's not right. My McMansion is eerily quiet and empty. I'm like, what's going on? Is there somebody here? Have I been robbed? I feel my heart rate increase, and my primal instincts take over as I begin looking around the house. And all I find is there's dimples in the carpet where furniture used to be. There's dust shadows where things used to set. So I'm frantically kind of running around, really not sure what I'm going to find. I get back downstairs, and I find the answer I desperately didn't want to find. On the counter, there's a note that says, I am safe, Jack is safe, contact my lawyer, blah, 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 regarding custody of our son. That just crushed me in that moment, right? So I'm immediately like, what is going on, right? So I immediately try to call my wife, well, apparently now my ex-wife, right? So I'm calling her up. I'm like, Amy, what is going on? Call me, please. Tell me what's happening. Several calls go unanswered. We had recently, in the past year, just been married and just had a baby. He was only 4 months old. So I go back to the note, and I call her lawyer. And I get his assistant. This is after 5 o'clock on a Monday. So I'm calling frantic. I'm like, oh, my God, I got this note. What's going on? And he's like, Mr. Preznuk? Yeah, what? I'm in tears, right? And he's like, have you retained counsel yet? I said, counsel? What the hell are you talking about, right? No, I haven't. So we go round and round for a few minutes, hang up. Then I'm like, I got to find a lawyer, right? So I'm bawling. I'm trying to get a lawyer. Again, 5 o'clock on a Monday. I actually did find one, and I call. I'm crying. Oh, my God, I found this note. I don't know what's going on. We were just married. Everything seemed fine. I don't know. She's asking questions. Have you been arguing? No, everything. I felt fine, right? She goes, don't worry. Come to my office tomorrow at 10 a.m., and we'll sort it out. Okay, God, I'll be there. Do I need to bring anything? Just your checkbook. That was the first and definitely not the last time I had to break out the checkbook. So over the next weeks and months, I had found in myself the darkest, most desperate despair I had ever experienced in my life. I mean, I had cried endlessly from the deepest depths of my soul. And for a guy that was raised that real men don't cry, this was a real opportunity for me to grow. And I did. I had confronted the greatest failure in my life and came face to face with this profound sense of shame and guilt that I put upon myself because of this failed marriage. The financial and emotional devastation was near catastrophic. It was awful. But what happened next, over time, as I started coming out of what I call affectionately my personal pit of despair, as the light cast into the darkness, that I had confronted and taken on the greatest failure in my life at that time, and to this day, actually. And I had discovered the meaning of true friendship and found within myself some hope. And there are two things that I kind of affectionately have looked back upon as two acts extraordinary love that I believe pulled me through those dark days. The first is my son. Again, he was very young at the time, and he gave me a life of purpose, a life worth living. And the second gave me a reason to love again. Now, my son, again, he was very young when all this had happened, and I remember back, and this kind of epitomizes the way that he impacts me. And he today truly continues to inspire me, teach me, and bring a tremendous amount of joy to my life. One day when he was about 5 years old, we do this thing called the high-low. Like, what's your high-low for the day, right? So I ask him, I say, Jack, what's your high-low? And he was about 5, 6 at the time, and that perfect, innocent 5-year-old voice, he's like, Daddy, which he doesn't call me anymore, and I wish he did, but he's like, Daddy, my high is playing with you. And my low is music class today. The teacher was angry, and she was yelling at everybody. And I'm like, oh, Jack, that was my high too. And then he says, well, do you want to know what my high for tomorrow will be? And I'm like, well, Jack, it's not yet tomorrow. You want to see what tomorrow will bring? And he goes, but Daddy, I already know what it's going to be. And I said, yeah, what? And he says, you coming to school to have lunch with me. I have a heart full of those types of moments. And that has given me strength and continues to teach and help me grow as a person. Now, the second act that I believe helped pull me through this was the one who had the courage, the patience, and devotion to love me after this experience. And I remember we were dating, and our relationship, our friendship evolved into a relationship, and we were waiting. I could see it, that she was waiting for this first kiss, right? And I go months and months and months, right? Working up the courage to get to this first kiss, and every time I drop her off, I could see her going, it's right here, come and get it, And finally, when that moment happens, it was perfect, and it was beautiful, and it was magical. And I feel that she truly saved me from, the negative path that could have happened from that divorce, where I could have become bitter and angry and suffered from serious trust issues. So I thank her to this day for that experience. And finally, I'm going to leave you with a quote that I pull out of my personal mantra of things that I use to inspire me and guide me at different times and difficult times in my life. And this one's by Albert Einstein. And it reads, failure is success in progress. And by that measure, I really should be successful at this point. And despite not, I continue to try. So with that, I want to say thank you. Thank those that came to support me this evening. You've been a great audience. Have a good evening.